How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Manchester City career mode here on FIFA 19, where this, I think, is going to be the last part of the January transfer window. There was a lot of questions asked in the last episode, and once again you guys came through big time in the comment section, so again thank you for your support on the series and on the channel. As always, if you do enjoy this episode, leave a big thumbs up on it and don't forget to subscribe if you are new. We're about 25 subscribers away from 500 at the moment, so that is incredible. Thank you for your support. I have already mentioned, if you're not aware, for the 500 subscriber special, we will be doing an hour-long episode of this series, so hopefully you guys can look forward to that one pretty soon. But the big question after the last episode, which ended very abruptly if you didn't see, we had a problem with the game not loading, was do we go for Memphis Depay in January or Cutrone, the AC Milan striker? And it was a question that divided opinion. Let's take a look at what the outcome was. So we've got Cutrone here, 79 rated, and Depay here, who's 83 rated. There was one player that got double the amount of votes to the other one, and that man was Cutrone, which is the person that we are going to be going for in today's episode. Now, I was kind of interested because Depay, some people were very for it, loved the idea of him coming to the club. Other people absolutely despised the thought of him coming to the club because of him being a former Man United player. For me, that was kind of one of the pulls that made me want to go for him, because he was such a flop at United. I thought it'd be cool if he came to us and then did really well. But yeah, in the end, a lot of people saying Depay hates Man City. In reality, don't know how true that is. So the votes were for Cutrone in the end. Like I said, I think he got 14 to Depay's 7 at the time of recording. So thank you for everyone that took the time to vote on that. And yeah, Cutrone is actually someone that I'm very excited for. He's young, great potential, brings a bit of a different element to the team in the fact that he's 6 foot. And one thing I did mention last time was that Depay could play left wing, something that Cutrone can't do. I actually kind of overthought that a little bit because we have got Diaz, who's been doing really well. So I'm kind of glad we're going for Cutrone on that front as well, because that means Diaz can still get more game time. Whereas if Depay had come in, I'd have probably played him a bit more, and Diaz probably wouldn't have got as much time on the pitch. So really pleased with the outcome in the end. So again, thank you everyone that voted. Let's see if we can seal the deal for Cutrone at the start of the episode. So his current value is £18 million, but he's very young, got a lot of potential. I'm interested to see if they are going to sort of slap a really high price tag on him or not. And I never know where to go with these kind of negotiations. I mentioned this in the past where I don't know how much they take into account potential. So it's tough. But I think if we offer 30 million, I think in reality that'd still be a bit of a steal, but it's still a large sum for a player that's going to be, you know, not getting straight into the first team. So let's see what AC Milan say to that. Okay, straight away that's a fair offer. I think I probably, you know, in terms of FIFA career mode, probably overpaid a little bit. I'm sure I could have gone in for a bit cheaper, but I still feel like with a player that we're going to get in the future, that is a very good fee. Now, I think his current wage is something like 65 grand, so it's not like on a low wage at Milan. I wonder what he's going to ask for from us, whether it's going to be a lot higher than that. So the role he's asked for is sporadic, which I'm more than happy to give him. I was actually going to go in with rotation myself, but good to know that he's aware that he's not going to be playing week in, week out initially. The interesting thing is going to be the wages, like I said, what he's going to want from us from there. 5 years is going to be the deal that we're going to offer, obviously, as far as contract length goes. That's perfect. You can play it. That's exactly what we want. Don't want a release clause. Again, absolutely ideal. Perfect scenario so far. Where it gets interesting is the wages. Now, again, they've not given us anything to go off of. I'm pretty sure, in reality, a sporadic player for us isn't going to be on a ton of money. But because of the guy's potential, because of the fact that he's on the 5-year deal, I am more than happy to offer him 80 grand. That's 15 grand more than he's currently on at Milan. To me, that's a fair offer. We've given him a £1 million signing on bonus as well. It's at this moment that we cross our fingers and pray that it doesn't say that the offer's insulting. Fair offer. Client's happy. They were the smoothest negotiations I think we've had on this series so far. And that also means that Cutrone is now a Man City player. You're going to have to let me know, guys. Is it Cutrone or Cutrone? How do I pronounce his name? But we're going to get rid of Depay from off the list. Goalkeeper is something that we're going to be looking into when Bravo leaves, of course, as we've already mentioned. And Sancho I'm going to keep there for now, but we're not going to go in for him in this transfer window just yet. But that could be the last bit of business we do in the window. Very, very excited about that. We've needed a third striker for a while. Been operating with just Jesus and Aguero, of course. So very, very exciting signing. Let's have a look at his stats in a bit more depth. Before we do that, actually, it's also worth mentioning that we've got Raheem Sterling coming back from injury in today's episode, which is absolutely ideal. As you guys are aware, I did have to simulate the game that we played against Huddersfield last time out because it didn't count the result after we weren't able to save it when the game didn't load. After simulating it, De Bruyne got an injury and he's out for 2 weeks, so not ideal, but 2 weeks, hopefully he'll be able to get by. So here he is, good trainer. Put him on the bench, 79 rated, as you're aware, at the age of 21. He's 6 foot tall, which is why I was excited. Like I say, gives us a bit of a different dimension. High, medium work rates. He's got a 3-star weak foot and the 4-star skill moves, which is absolutely fantastic. Finishing is what I'm really interested in. What is his finishing, I wonder? Finishing at 82, which is not bad at all for the guy's age. And like I say, just a player that I'm genuinely really excited for. One thing I will say about this career mode is I do think we've made a mistake already in terms of the signing. I've put him on the bench, and that has actually meant I've decided to relegate Toussaint into the reserves. I think we might have gone a little bit too mental in terms of signing central midfielders because we've got De Jong as well. I think it's going to be difficult to get all these players in the future at one time because we've got Foden, De Jong, Bernardo Silva, Toussaint, and there's a lot of players to be getting in there. Perhaps Toussaint was a sign that we didn't necessarily need, but time will tell on that in the future. Still a good player. I'm sure we'll get him in some matches every now and then, but certainly, you know, might have been a bit excessive in my opinion looking back at it now. In terms of games in today's episode, we'll be starting off with the game against Huddersfield away from home. We'll then be taking on Wolves, which is in the Cup, I believe. Yeah, it's in the Emirates FA Cup, and then Newcastle in the Premier League. So 2 league games and 1 in the Cup, and then that will of course be ending the January transfer window today, so it's going to be a very busy one more than likely this episode. So here we are for the first game of the episode then, guys. We're taking on Huddersfield. Of course we did take them on in the last episode as well and came away with the win in the I don't think it was the Emirates FA Cup, I think it was the Carabao Cup if I remember correctly, but I could be wrong on that one. It might have been the FA Cup thinking back, but we're taking them on in the league today regardless. Had to make a couple of changes to the team, partly due to stamina, partly due to injury, so it's a bit of a different team. There's actually a player making a debut for us here. I'm pretty sure it's a league debut, and he's played for us in the past, but I don't think he started a game in the league. Top scoring team, as you can see, was 7 goals clear of the next best, and we're currently actually sitting top of the table, I think, because Tottenham have got a game in hand over us, and they could go a point clear if they were to win that. But let's take a look at the lineups and get stuck into this one. So Huddersfield, in theory, if I remember correctly, played a very strong team against us in the Cup last time we played, which was actually a few days ago. So I'm expecting their team to be a little bit leggy. They should be a bit low on stamina. This is almost an identical, in fact I think it is an identical team to the one that played in the Cup. So in theory, I don't think Diak could be started, to be fair, but a lot of these players should be running perhaps a little bit more empty than they would usually be. So hopefully we can take advantage of that, whereas ourselves, we of course played our second string team in that game. So we're coming into this one full of stamina and fitness. We've got Edison in between the sticks as always. Back four of Walker, Stones, Laporte and Mendy, the strongest we've got there at the moment. Midfield three, of Frenkie de Jong, Fernandinho and Bernardo Silva. Frenkie de Jong, the player that I mentioned, I don't think has started a league game for us before. This is his first today. And then Mahrez, Jesus and Sane leading the line. Maguire was a little bit low in stamina. Sterling's just come back from injury, so he wasn't able to start, wasn't quite ready. And of course De Bruyne is out for 2 weeks, as I mentioned previously in the episode, and we brought in De Jong in his place. But hopefully teams should have enough about it to get the job done. Let's see if we can dispatch of Huddersfield. Laporte, that was a bit dodgy straight away. Diakby getting in there. Ball looks up to Kopic, who should be able to deal with that. But it's come out nicely. Edison forced into the first save of the game, and it wasn't the easiest one. He made that look easier than it was, I think. Bernardo Silva bringing it forward. Look at the run there in between the defenders. It's Gabriel Jesus. Can we pick the pass here? We've got a runner on the edge in Sane. Hit this first time, Leroy. What a block. And I tell you what, we're 5 minutes in and there's been chances at either end. What a start to the game this is. Great effort. What a touch there. It's literally the tiniest bit of the toe on the end of his boot there. Get into that. Got pace to burn, as we know. Can he get the good ball in? He can get a decent ball in, you know. Are we going to still get to this one? Not. A bit scrappy in Huddersfield clear. Bit of a chance in there. Just kicking off in the second half here. Still not found the goal, obviously, in that first half, but I don't think there's too much concern for now. We're all over Huddersfield. Hopefully, it's just going to be a matter of time before the goal comes. Start of the half, though. Walker. Mahrez. Finds Mahrez again. That's really well played. He's been led onto that left foot. There it is, right at the start of the second half. I did say that we've been playing well. We've been all over Huddersfield, and it was going to be a matter of time. and Morris gets the goal in the 48th minute, just after the kick-off of the second half. The mistake Huddersfield made here, they led him onto that left foot. Look, a little turn back, too much space, standing off him, and he bends one in from the edge of the box. He's having a solid season for his Morris. He's been as though he's rotated in and out a lot with Sterling, and in Sterling's absence, he's really stepped up to the mark, so fair play to him, and yeah, puts us 1-0 in the lead here. Well in, Leroy Sané. Look at the space at that back stick area. We found Toussaint. He's just come off the bench. Can he get a goal? Can he stake a claim for a first team spot? Toussaint. He can't. The rebound? No. Not something that Toussaint's particularly known for, of course. More of a defensive option. But could have put a goal in there. Would have given us something to think about. Well defended that was. But I'll tell you what, the chances aren't over yet. Putting towards that back stick. Mendy's got to do... What happened there? How has that gone in? That is the worst goal we've conceded in this series so far by a mile. I cannot believe it. Huddersfield have barely had a shot, man. And we're level. I'm smiling because it's funny, because it's that ridiculous. It's a ball put in there. Mendy gets it completely wrong at the back stick. And Aymeric Laporte just couldn't... He had a man coming in behind us, so we had to stop it getting to him, I think. But... what an absolute mess. That was Mendy's error on that left-hand side. He shouldn't have put it where he did. I didn't aim it there whatsoever, of course, but as if we've been pegged back here with that. Good ball. Foden. Oh, it's a good save from Lur, so we're going to make a change as well. 81st minute. Oh, I was going to bring on Cutrone for a debut here, but I think we're going to bring on Aguero. I think we're going to have to bring on Aguero, and we're going to bring him on in place of... or do we bring someone on in central midfield? We're going to go Aguero for Jesus. We're going to do it. We're going to go Aguero for Jesus. He's a little bit, you know, not quite on full fitness, but not far off. Hopefully, the fresh legs of Sergio can find us a winner here. Trying to remain somewhat patient here whilst looking for the opening. Toussaint. Oh, keep on going. He should have played that through to Aguero, really. Pass didn't quite make it. Come on, win that, though. Come on. We're fighting for this. Aguero. He's found Leroy Sané. Sané. Still Sané. Oh, he's been cleared. But we're deep now into the Huddersfield half. 2 minutes left of added time. Toussaint. Foden. We've got to go for it. Oh, I was so hesitant there with Foden. Should have gone for it a bit sooner. Corner, though. Played short to Mahrez. There's Mahrez. Cuts inside really, really well. Aguero. Toussaint. Aguero! I can't believe we're going to draw this game. I cannot believe this has ended 1-1. I don't think Huddersfield had a shot. If they did, they didn't have many at all. Maybe like 2 or 3, 3 or 4. And to be fair, they had 6 shots, 4 on target. I thought they didn't think they had that many. But the goal we conceded, absolute mess of it, mess made by Mendy, and it's cost us 2 points at the end of the day. Unbelievable. So after that travesty of a result against Huddersfield in the last game, we're looking to bounce back, and we got the FA Cup as a platform to do so. Our league form after we start. I mean, the first 15 games, we were absolutely electric in the league. We were hardly losing, well, we didn't lose at all, hardly dropping any points. We've really come across a bit of a stumbling block. We've been very inconsistent in the Premier League of late. But you can see in the background, Cutrone is going to be making his debut in this one. We've got a very much second string 11 out because we've got another game in a couple of days' time in the Premier League, which is prioritised. He is also number 9 Cutrone, so the fabled number 9 shirt, of course, normally goes to the number 1 striker, but Aguero doesn't wear a number 9, he wears a number 10, and Jesus is the number 33, as we all know. So, interestingly, our third striker is at number 9, but Wolves here playing a pretty full-strength team by the looks of it. Mendy making his first start against us in that back line, which I'd completely forgotten about till just now. Jota and Adama, Jimenez, dangerous players, but hopefully we can play well against these. We played them very recently in the league and made light work of them. Sterling, you can see there as well, coming in for his first start since coming back from injury, just easing him back in. But other than Sterling, there's not many players in this lineup that would normally play in the league. You've got Muric in goal, a rare start for him, and Babu, Sander, De Ligt and Zinchenko making up the back line. Toussaint, Foden and Frenkie de Jong in the centre, with Sterling, Brahim Diaz and Cutrone leading the line. So a very, very youthful team. And again, a few players that have impressed this season, Zinchenko, Foden and Babu, you know, when he played in his debut the other day, looked really, really good. So we're hoping for similar performances from those guys again at Molineux. Great ball. Switch the play to Doherty. Adama had made sure that Zinchenko was busy. It's Delict that's given away a penalty. I was saying it was a great ball over because Zinchenko had been pushed back by the runner Traore. I didn't think that was a penalty. I thought we won the ball and it was going in for a corner, but apparently not. Let's see what the replay suggests here. Going to be very interesting to see. It was a bit of skill from Traore here, look. Shapes it. Is that a penalty? Is that a penalty? Not for me, it's not. Can we get some justice here? Muric in between the sticks is absolutely huge. And he makes the save. That is justice, because that was not a penalty in my book. Well in, Muric. Finds Toussaint. Phil Foden. Really well done. 1-0 and it's Phil Foden. He's finally got his first goal for us this season. Get in there, lad. Just like in real life, he gets his first goal for the club in the FA Cup. I think it was the FA Cup where he scored this year. It could have been the Carabao. I'm pretty sure it was the FA Cup. But lovely little drop of the shoulder. Slams it past the keeper. And bearing in mind the amount of time he's played for us this season, I can't believe it's taken quite that long for him to get his first goal. But he's played well regardless all season. And it's great to see him finally getting on the score sheet. This is dangerous. It's going to be very dangerous. Adama Traore, ball towards the back stick. Sandler did well. Frankie de Jong. Patron looking to hold it up again. And does so well again. Foden. Keep on going. Filth does well. Finds Frankie de Jong. Finds Cutrone. Lots of space opened up here. De Jong. Oh, it's just wide. It could have been the first goal for him as well. He's yet to score for us. Nice bit of play, Phil Foden, to bring it away. Currently his goal. What separates the two teams remains 1-0. Really nice bit of hold up from him again there. Cutrone, who's been very, very solid. It's fair to say in his debut. Good ball to Diaz. Can we go with him on his stronger left foot? Brahim Diaz, this man just knows where the net is. I mean, it's outrageous because he's probably, out of the regular young players that we play, so Foden, Zinchenko, De Jong, he is by far the lowest current rated. Yet he finds the net so often. It's a wonderful finesse shot on the edge of the box to put the game to bed. And it's the two, in reality, major youth products from Man City in real life right now. Brahim Diaz and Phil Foden have got the goals here. Lovely finish on his stronger left foot from the edge of the box. I mean, look at that. 3 players trying to get in the way there, essentially. None of them able to do so. None of them can stop him. 2-0 up now. And that is going to make sure we go through to the next round of the Cup. There it is then, the full-time whistle, a 2-0 win at Molineux to take us into the next round of the FA Cup. Great result considering the team we had out there as well. Strong performances from Foden, from Diaz, who always seems to do well whenever he plays, and Cutrone on his debut didn't look too shabby either, it's fair to say. But into the next round, look at that, 5 attempts at Cutrone we had with no goals. Kind of crazy actually, but we were trying a couple of long shots to see if we could get that debut goal. Didn't quite happen for him today in front of the net, but still felt good to use, and going to be certainly one for the future. Here we are then, guys, the final game of today's episode. It feels like the games have come thick and fast today. I mean, there is usually a lot of games around the Christmas New Year periods. That's sort of not surprising, but been pretty quiet on the transfer front, and being as it's coming towards the end of the window, I thought we might have a couple of panicky bids in for some of our players, but nothing of the sort. So we're going into this game now against Newcastle. I might do deadline day in the next episode and hope that we hit 500 subscribers before then, so we can make it a somewhat hour-long special. We can do deadline day, we can look at the player report at the end of that as well, and all that kind of stuff. So fingers crossed, that is something we might look to do potentially. But in the meantime, we got this Newcastle game first, of course, and we need to get a win. I mentioned it earlier in the episode, I think, how inconsistent we've been in the league compared to the way we started, where we're on fire. The last sort of 5-10 game block, if you like, over the Christmas period, where the games have been coming thick and fast, we haven't been clinical enough. We've not put a great run together, so we need to get 3 points here and make sure we're on the way to doing so again. So this is how Newcastle are going to line up. They've got Dubravka in between the sticks at the back. They've got Yago Fernandez, Shaw and Manquillo looking towards the midfield. They've got Matt Ritchie, Biselli, John Joe Shelby and Kennedy, of course. And then leading the line, they've got Jose Perez, who's in behind Solomon Rondon. So not too far away from the kind of team they're playing reality there. Biselli being a new signing for them, of course, I believe. Our line-up, Edison in between the sticks. We've got Walker, Stones, Laporte and Mendy. Zinchenko, very impressive in the last game. Tempted to start him, but went with Mendy again. We've got the 2 Silvers and Fernandinho making it in the middle of the park, and Mahrez, Aguero and Sane starting as the front 3 in this one. I mentioned it just, we need to get a win, we need to get consistent in the league, and make sure we can put a run back together to hold down top spot possibly. Finds David Silva. Finds Fernandinho. Opening up a game for Fernandinho, and that one's a better effort. Good save from Dubravka. First major shot of the game, to be honest. Been lots of like half chances, but that one was a good effort. David Silva. Is that a pen? No, went down too easy. Well won, to be fair. Walker, great defending.
Interesting to see what footwear the teams are going to actually use
Bernardo.
today. Now that this rain
David
is coming.
Silva. Looking to find Aguero. He's going to strike it first time. Weaker left foot, but the chances are coming there. Dubravka's being worked. Aguero. Finds Bernardo. Well played, Bernardo. Opening up the space. Aguero. Big chance. Yes! Sergio does not let you down when you need him. Great finish. I was a bit concerned because it was on his weaker left foot, but we finally get the opening, and all that was down to Bernardo Silva. A couple of passes before the goal, does a little fake shot to open up the space, and that allowed him to find David, who then finds Sergio. It's the Silva-Aguero connection again. Look at that lovely ball. He's on his weak foot, does not matter to Aguero, puts it past Dubravka, and that's the goal we've been craving and that we've deserved. We've been all over Newcastle here. About time. Oh, Kennedy's absolutely dropped me like a fly there. And I tell you what, it's a good move by Newcastle, this. Well defended in the end. Aguero. Oh, it's a great piece of play from Sergio. Go on, lad. Aguero still going strong. Can we spin inside to make the chance? We can. Aguero! What a goal that is. Superb individual solo goal from Sergio Aguero. Makes it a brace, and that is exactly what we needed in the Huddersfield game. That's the second goal now. 2-goal cushion, and that should make this game safe now. All 3 points going back from Newcastle to Manchester, but that is a simply sensational solo goal from Aguero. Lovely play in the middle of the park. Spins the defender, bends it in on that stronger right foot with his finesse. That's one on the right and one on the left in this game. Dubravka, I think, got a touch to it, to be fair, but didn't stand a chance in keeping it out. And that is what's going to secure all 3 points, I think. That's Fernandinho. That's a great place to win the ball, and all of a sudden we've got all the space in the world. It's Mahrez. He plays it to Aguero. Can he get his hat-trick? Yes, he can. Easy as 1, 2, 3 for Aguero, who gets his hat-trick against Newcastle. And it's one of those, as soon as we got the second goal, Newcastle are pushing up the pitch. There's spaces to be had, and he could not miss in the end. Not a player of Sergio's calibre. Lovely goal. You can hear the fans chanting his name. And look at this, 1-on-1 with the keeper. No one else on the team that you want right now other than Aguero. And he slams it past Dubravka to make it 3. And we're going to make a couple of changes now to see this game out. Get some time on the pitch to Foden. Get some time for Diaz. And see this out. Great defending by Stones there. Running from De Jong, who's just off the bench. It's got a bit scrappy now, but we don't mind that at 3-0. 90th minute now, Aguero. Could there be one last chance? Lays it off to Bernardo Silva. Finds Foden. That's a magnificent ball, you know. Oh, could have been fought at the end there, but that is just about going to be that. I think there might be one last attack if Newcastle are lucky. No, not even that. The ref blows his whistle, and that's a 3-0 win away at Newcastle. You can't ask for any more than that. A hat-trick for Sergio Aguero. I mentioned earlier it was the first game he'd started in this episode. Look at that, 8 shots he had, 3 goals. We dominated Newcastle in this game. If Sergio alone had 8 shots, I'd dread to think how many we had altogether. And did we have 17 shots, 12 on target? That really was a fantastic display, and hopefully something to build on in the next episode. So as you can see, to end off the episode, guys, we are technically back top of the table, but we're still level on points with Spurs, who have got that game in hand. Need them to start dropping points realistically, but this has been a good episode after that first game where we got the undeserved point against Huddersfield, and by undeserved I mean we should have taken all 3 after that ridiculous own goal, of course. But you know, we bought in Coutron, which I'm really happy with. We won in the FA Cup with the younger team, and to bounce back in the league in the way we did against Newcastle was absolutely fantastic. So despite those dropped points against Huddersfield, I'm pretty happy on the whole, and I still think we're in a great position to go on and win the league. I'm hoping that Spurs can drop off at some point, but we'll have to wait and see on that, of course. As mentioned, the next episode is going to be deadline day, so the final day of the transfer window. I don't know if anything too exciting is going to go down, but I think the fact that we're hopefully going to be hitting 500 subscribers, it'd be nice to do deadline day in the hour-long episode, so we can have a bit of a mixture of content in there and not just back-to-back games, essentially. So fingers crossed that can be the case. But if you have enjoyed this episode, guys, as always, make sure to leave a big thumbs up on the video. Make sure to subscribe to help us hit that 500 if you are new around here. And don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. That is going to end this episode off, guys. And yeah, I will speak to you on the next video, which is probably going to be a preview for City's next game in reality, guys. So I'll catch you all there. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Nidge out.